What's going on, everybody, man? Welcome to the Barbers Roundtable Podcast. I'm Junior the Barber. This is episode 3, content creation with Christian Got Fans, AOF Miguel, and my man, special guest, Mr. Ivan Chico Boom, baby. I appreciate everybody being here today. We have a live audience. We have my man, Melo Navaja, Detail Fade, BL the Brand, and the Florida Academy students are in the building to get some of this information about content creation and motivation from my man, Mr. Ivan Chico Boom. I appreciate all of you guys being here today.
Appreciate you having us.
You know, because it's Sunday. We all taking time off from different things that we're all doing, man. So let's talk about, when did you guys realize that content creation was the way for barbers to put ourselves out there even more? It's just a new way of marketing. When did you guys realize what type of content you wanted to put out there?
Damn, I would say for myself, bro, it's crazy because I never viewed it as I want to create content because of anything else besides the fact that I wanted to prove to everybody that I was as good as I thought I was.
Okay.
That's why I was like scrolling through Instagram one day and there was a J. Cole meme, or it was like a quote, and it said, it was pretty much stating like, what does it matter if you know how good you are if nobody else knows?
Right.
And that's what made me want to build content. I had no reason for it.
Okay.
I just wanted to like prove to myself that I was as good as what I thought I was.
That's dope. But also, you putting out your content, people get to know who your personality is by the content that you're creating. You know, the content that we create is a reflection of who we are as people, as barbers, you know. And that's a dope thing, because I know from the videos that you make, you know, your cut, things like that, shows me the type of dude that you are. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people don't really know Miguel like that. Miguel's like quiet, humble dude, but when you see this, you know, you see your artwork, it speaks for itself, man. You know, and you've always been super humble. You always opened the doors for me anytime I came to your shop just to visit and chop it up, you know, so thank you for that.
Yeah, I feel like the game needs more of that, you know what I'm saying? Like, Boom's always did it for me, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, like, I think that's what's really missing about the barbering industry sometimes.
Right, and you say that about Boom, and Boom always opened his doors for me, man, and he always showed me love, and I appreciate that for you, my brother.
No doubt.
You know, I remember before he was Dr. Ivan Chico Boom, you know, went to, you know, some of his classes and stuff like that, and he always had a message behind everything, you know. Now it's just even a more powerful message, and I'm sure myself and the barber industry appreciate you.
Thank you.
And what you do for us, man, and keep inspiring us.
For sure. I appreciate you. I appreciate y'all, man. I mean, going back to your question of social media, I don't even like social media now. You know, I do it now just to, you know, because you have an audience, right?
Right.
And you want to deliver that message that you want to deliver. And you want to get through, you know, whoever you get through. Even, you know, you got something, however many thousand followers, but if you could touch one person, you see, that's what's important to me.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And getting that message across. But I remember it was my boy Blue from Ink City.
Yeah.
And he came in the shop one day. He was getting a haircut, and he was like, "Yo, man, you gotta try this Instagram thing out." And I'm like, "Man, I don't even have a Facebook. Like,
Right.
I'm not one for that. Like, you know, I live in the real world, in real life.
Right.
And, you know, I'm still trying to grasp this whole meta universe they coming out with. You know what I mean? Like, I'm doing real life stuff. You know, so
Totally.
But he put me on, and then when I seen it was grabbing traction, I was like, well, you could do something powerful with this, because it doesn't have to just, you know, start and end with hair. It can go into other things.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? So my whole thing is like, barbering is a platform. It's a gateway to greater things. And what you do with that platform, that's your thank you to the gift that God has given you. Because I always say this is a God-given gift. But
absolutely,
if you're just gonna start to be a barber just to end being a barber, that's cool. I mean, I know certain people that do that, but it's so much more powerful than that. Right. You know, because you're connecting with people every single day. You're able to talk to people every single day. So barbering to me was a lot bigger, and that's why I use those social media outlets grow as an individual, as a professional, as an influencer, but making sure that my influence was a positive one. You know, I could have been you know, gun toting and smoking and, you know, and all the other foolishness that people do on their social media, but it doesn't leave anything behind. You know, what are you going to be remembered for? You feel me? So that was my whole thing with it.
That's dope, man. And I appreciate that about you, man, because since I met you, it's been close to 12 years now that I've met you when I first moved down to South Florida. But I've seen even you evolve with the years.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, and I appreciate that, and I'm happy to see you evolve because it's been a beautiful thing to watch. You know what I'm saying? To see you from owning your shops to starting to speak. You know, I remember when you first started with the exotics.
Yeah, that was fun.
You know, and as the years go by, you keep progressing and inspiring more of us to, you know, do more and be more positive about the things, because, you know, let's be real, society is still frowned upon barbers. You know, they don't give us that respect that we used to get back in the earlier days of barbering.
Right. It's just now, I feel, coming back full circle because of talented young brothers like Christian, like Miguel. Like, if you see some of these guys work, it's like, wow, you know, at that age, I wasn't cutting like that, that creative. To me, it was just a fast fade, some designs, you in and out. But now you see the hair textures, you see the scissor game real heavy right now. Where in my era, it was like we didn't pick up a pair of shears too often to create that type of look. We would, you know, take a little length off and blend your little taper in and keep it pushing, right? So these guys are creating real art, and you know, I think that's a beautiful thing at their age. They're so young and so artistic to be able to create these things. And some of the students in the audience right now that they have the opportunity to be with my man BL, which is a phenomenal barber. I had a great opportunity to work next to him, and they're learning these new tricks. They're learning this new art form. You see that it wasn't in my era as popular. You know, so 20 plus years now down the road, now I'm seeing all of this and it's evolved, you know, and now barbering is getting that respect again. But it's up to them. You see, them, they're the young gunners, they're the new generation. It's up for them to continue that tone and raising that bar. Because if we deteriorate and go backwards, we're just going to be back to where we were 10 years ago. So then people, you charging how much for a haircut? You see? And me and my girl was just having that discussion this morning, because she's like, I paid $15 to get my eyebrows started, and it takes 10 minutes, and you got cheap dudes that will, you know, complain about, you know, $20 haircut, you know, and it's like, shame on the barber that's still charging $20 for a haircut.
Well, that's one of those things that I've always respected about, like, the beauty industry, especially with the salons, because they never budged on their price. You know, I'm dual licensed, I worked in a salon before, and the price is what the price is. Take it or leave it. You know what I mean? And because they respected themselves, the clients respected their price. You know, and I think that's one of those things that we have to start doing as barbers. And when the young guys and the students come into this world, to know that your time is valuable. You know what I mean? We don't have time to waste. Yes, we're all in this because it's a business and it's going to feed our families, but you also have to fall in love with it.
Absolutely. You know? You got to have passion before paycheck.
Christian, you all right, man?
Yeah.
Kind of quiet over there, my brother.
You know, I'm just
It's preaching.
The one time I realized, man, that social media is key to building clientele and to really putting yourself out there is in Lehigh, I had a business card and I gave it to this dude, man. And bro, like, the second I gave it to him, he walked down to the plaza, he just dumps it right in the trash. I'm like, yeah, no, this ain't it, man. This ain't it. So I really feel like social media is definitely key to building clientele and to really putting yourself out there. A lot of exposure.
Now that you
free exposure. You remember we had to pay for radio airways back in our days.
Absolutely.
So if we wanted a commercial, we had to pay for it. Now you get to put it out there for free. There ain't no excuse.
And not even that. Now you get paid to do videos. And so it's like, how?
And that's what I was.
Ask for?
That's what I wanted to ask you, because you're a young dude, and how long you been cutting now?
I think like 4.5, 5 years now.
4.5, 5 years, and because of your content creation, you have gotten to the point where these companies are reaching out to you, and you're doing collabs, and you're getting sponsorships and things like that. Can you elaborate a little bit on how one of your sponsors came about?
That's the power of social media. Without that, I would never have met them. I can't send them an invitation and be like, yo, look, I'm a barber, can you look at me? It's all through social media. So I feel like the more quality content you could build and create, the more exposure you'll get. Like, companies will look at you, they'll try to show you love, send you packages, and stuff like that.
Okay. So through your content that you created, who was your first sponsor?
Slicker.
Okay,
USA,
Slicker.
Yeah.
Slicker reached out to you with the rig.
Yeah, it's a rig that you put
dope.
all your clippers, guards. Saves you like 10 minutes, man, for real. It's good.
Okay. Yeah, because I remember when you first got it, you did a little video and you were kind of in the air.
Oh, yeah.
Almost thing. And I saw a little bit of the behind the scenes, which was dope. Now, when you guys are creating your content, is there anyone that's helping you guys edit or think about how you're going to create this content?
Social media.
Social media?
I saw it on a dude that was he's a photographer, and I saw a picture of him doing it for someone else.
Okay.
So I was like, if he could do it, why can't I?
Right. So you got the inspiration off of that.
Inspiration off of that, yeah.
That's what's up.
Shit, my girl be with me half the time. And she like the last one we shot a commercial. We was on the private jet, and it was dressed like a pilot. This was last weekend.
Yeah, that was dope. That was for JRL, right?
Nah, for Roda.
Yeah,
I can't talk too much on it, but
no, that's cool.
It's gonna be dope. But she the one that told me, she like, oh, baby, sit right here real quick. And she took that, you know what I mean? Yeah. But now, like, my thing is I'm more of organic, and like, but then we did the video with the girl coming into the shop, and,
that was listen.
Dope. So that was all me.
Super crazy.
Listen, that was pretty dope content. I ain't gonna lie. I watched that video probably like 3 or 4 times because you kind of almost flipped the script on the regular content that we've been seeing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So that's just being creative. That's just thinking. Like, what can I do different than everyone else? I don't want to do the same thing everyone else is doing. And I don't want to feel like, I don't want people or my peers to feel like I'm copying them. Now, you know what I mean?
Right. How many people on that video were part of that shoot that you did with homegirl coming into the shop?
It was me, my cameraman, shout out to Triple M, and her. That was it.
So that's 3 people, and you guys created this dope. I mean,
but that's the first time I met her too. Like, I never met her before. Like,
that's crazy.
So about 6-7 months ago, my girl was in Target. Again, my girl, I'm giving her a lot of credit. So.
But that's what it's about. It's about
who
all
you
of us
keep around
having good people around us and a good network.
System.
Right. So she in Target. She see the girl with the short hair. She go up to her, and she's like, my man do hair, and I think it'd be really cool if you came and hollered at. So we started following each other. Me and Shorty started following each other on the gram. And I just felt I got into a creative mode,
Right.
And when BL was at the Black Sheep, we shot something over there too. And I've always been that person to think outside the box. And I was like, yo, B, we got to dress in all black, and we got to have shiny shoes on, and you know what I mean. So we his brother shot out to Will Films. He shot it perfectly how we envisioned it.
That's dope.
So, but my girl, whatever. So I hit her up. I got that wide hair up my ass. I said, I want to create something. So I hit Shorty up, and I was like, yo, you want to but she had forgot all about me. So I was like, look, I'm not a creep, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to. So she got back to me, and then we made it happen. That's the first time, and then everybody's like, oh, it look like y'all known each other for years.
Yeah,
hey, can I say something?
It came out organic. Go ahead.
I feel like people don't understand, like, doing that on the first go. Like, I was shocked. I just thought you been cutting her up for a while. Like,
I swear
you went crazy on that for a first go.
Yeah, it literally felt organic.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And that's the beauty about networking and not being scared to put yourself out there to a stranger that you might want. You look at them and you be like, man, I would rock some shit with their hair, and start creating a new network with that person, and they can help you out. And that's the beauty about us, because we run into so many people from so many different walks of life, that, you know, it helps us create this content.
Correct.
You know what I mean? But yeah, that video came out, I swear, that shit was like a commercial.
Yeah.
I appreciate that, man. It was fun. We got a lot of content that we created, Triple M and myself. And it's stuff that we haven't released yet. You know what I mean? It's just stuff that just sits in the archive sometimes.
Yeah.
And you know, when we're ready, we'll release it. But I
Sometimes
think
it's timing.
It is. It definitely is. But I encourage anybody that's starting or that's in the game right now heavy to create. Just be creative and express yourself how you see fit. Like shout out to Mello.
Yes, sir.
You know, where Mello 5 years ago wasn't expressing himself the way he is now. Now, you know, we in a different space where he's really like tapped into, I think, what he really loves, which is his whole artistic, colorful world that he's tapped into, and you know, shout out to him for that. Where it's almost like he recreated himself, you know.
You know what it was? He morphed into the Black Bunny.
Yeah,
I'm telling you.
Hey, Conejo Negro, that's what I call it.
That ass.
You know, so that's called evolving, right? That's called evolving. Even, you know, even detail phase. I've seen these guys evolve and you shift, and if you're not willing to do that, you're not going to keep up with the trends, and you're not going to grow. You got to constantly be transforming into a different person. Every 5 years, you want to be a different person than you was 5 years ago.
Absolutely.
And like B, you look at him now, he's tailor fitted. You know, he's always fly. You know, where maybe 5-10 years ago, you know, is a whole nother monster.
So you're talking about B. I remember when me and B worked together over at Twin Cuts, right?
Yeah.
I swear, he was like, yo, this is the hoodest Puerto Rican cat you'll ever see in your life. I mean, he was coming in there, and it was like the straight mean phase, you know what I mean? But I'm proud of him because I've seen him evolve just like I've seen you evolve, and, you know, and Miguel and everybody else that's in here. You know, that's the beautiful thing, because when we keep this type of network and friendship amongst barbers,
you grow.
We all grow.
Absolutely.
Right? Because we could all pick each other's brains about things and not have that ego that it's a lot in our industry. There's a lot of egos in our industry, you know, but if we put that aside and we work together, man, we could create a lot of beautiful things. We could evolve not just as individual barbers, but as a whole industry.
Right.
And I know that's some of the motivational stuff that you be talking about, that you be trying to, you know, give game on, and some people don't want to take that in. You know what I mean?
Trust that.
And that's one of those things that's why I started doing this podcast, because I wanted to have these conversations with everyone, and just have a conversation amongst different barbers, because we all have different points of views, and we could all help each other, you know, grow and evolve.
Correct. We got to get out that, you know, like, we all rock stars, right? You know, and that's cool. We all stars in our own world. You know what I mean? Like, you know, Christian, I'm using an example. You know, he young, he got image. He's a good looking fella. He's talented. You know, he's a rock star on his page. I mean, I got no problem telling him that. You know what I mean? You're a rock star kid. You haven't even reached your pinnacle. Like, you're gonna be this great star, but you know, you have to be. I always say leaders create leaders. We've heard that.
Absolutely.
But we got to be humble enough to give people their flowers while they're here. You know what I mean? And give them that respect. But encouraging them too, because you know, I'm older than him. I've gone down a different path, maybe a longer path than he's now experiencing. I'm able to say that to him. Maybe that's words of encouragement to him. Like, damn, one said, you know, it keeps, you know, him going. But some people feel like we say in Spanish, son bien come mierda, you know, but they feel like, damn, I'm too good to have this conversation. I'm too good to talk to this man, or I'm too good to compliment this individual. But how are we gonna grow like that? We never gonna grow, and you're gonna be this small-minded dude. Long term, those people don't go nowhere. Right. You know, they become this star and they're shining bright, but that light dims. Because in order for your light to keep shining, you got to shine somebody else's light.
Right. And that's what I appreciate. So, you know, for example, like, I appreciate Miguel, you know what I mean? Because when we were going to do this episode, you know, he reached out to me because he felt I am doing it by myself. I don't have a team, you know what I mean? But he felt in his heart to help me. And I appreciated that. I didn't take it to the ego. And he helped me out with the flyer. You know what I'm saying? To me, that was love. You know what I'm saying? It was genuine from his heart. And sometimes when people try to genuinely do things for you, and you let your ego think, it's not that they're trying to be nasty, it's they genuinely care to see you do better.
Correct.
You know, and I appreciate that from you, my brother, because that was love. You know, it was like 10 o'clock at night. You know what I mean? So this is what I'm talking about. All barbers, we all need to start sticking to each other and helping each other grow, because there's something that I don't know. I'm older than all of y'all.
Right.
But even though I'm older than all of y'all, you know, I gained some things from the things that you pose, from the things that Miguel posed, from Randy,
A little bit of everything.
you know, Mello. Just because you're younger doesn't mean that I can't learn something from you. You know what I mean? Because we've all had different experiences in life, personally, you know, professionally. We've all been down different lanes, like you said.
Right.
And your experience that you learn, you might be able to show me something, and I could show you something about my experience. You know what I mean? And that's the beauty about this stuff, you know. And like I said, with the content creation, you know, when Miguel hit me, I was like, that's part of the content and the podcast, and he helped me with those visuals because he's better than me at it.
He better than me. I had conversation with Miguel like a few years ago where I was telling him, "Nah, man, you got to keep that going. What happened, man? You got to keep that," because he was always creating some like different funky stuff that you know. And he's I think was the first one like locally where I was looking at his stuff and be like, "Yo, kid, dope." You know what I mean? Like,
right. So it's funny you say that because I told him earlier, like, you know, some years ago when he first had his shop, he was like the only barbershop owner that literally, when he was looking for a barber, it strictly said on there, you have to be social media, you know, savvy to come work at the shop. Why? Because he has a vision, you know. And I'm sure even if you weren't savvy, but you were willing to learn, I'm sure he would have took you under his wings and taught you what he knows, you know. And that's the thing, when you get into these shops, you have to take a little bit from everybody.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Now, when you guys are creating this content, when you first started, right? What type of equipment do you guys have when you first started? You know, phones are getting better now and things like that, you know, but for Miguel that's been doing content for a while, and for you, you've been doing different type of content. I remember, I mean, dude had
pulling up in armored trucks.
Yeah, and pulling up in armored trucks. Bro, this man was giving out turkeys out, you know. He was doing a lot in the city for the city, you know what I mean? But the content really wasn't too out there. So when you guys started, you know, what type of equipment were you guys using to put your content out?
Yeah, I was hiring my camera guy, whatever camera guy I had at that time. Even Triple M, I started with, you know, he started with me when he was still trying to figure it out.
Right.
And we figured it out together. I just know what I wanted to capture. I got the vision. You see, I could see it. I know how
like
I know how the script. Right. I direct it. I know what the script's gonna be. I just need you to shoot it.
Right.
And then we're gonna sit there on that laptop, and I'm gonna tell you, piece that here, put that here, and you work the buttons how you work it out. But that equipment, I was just hiring my camera guy and working as a team, you know, collectively.
Yeah, I feel like it's crazy because when I started, I obviously started off my cell phone, right? I feel like everybody starts off their cell phone.
Right.
First thing you got. But then I started to realize that you blend in with everybody else that's using their cell phone.
Right.
So what I did, I moved on to it was like a starter camera. It was like a T3i camera.
Okay.
Right. So once I did that, I automatically felt like I had a foot ahead of everybody else with the camera.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's just one of those things where I feel like, yeah, it's good to build content, but sometimes you have to invest in yourself. And that's why I said, like, yo, you know, if you want to cut hair at my shop, I want you to be social media savvy. Like Christian, he invested into his own camera.
Right.
That way I don't have to just be like in the middle of my haircuts, like over here snapping pictures. And he understands that and never took it in a negative manner, you know?
Right.
But that's why I did that, you know, going to that question.
Right. So I just say this, right? if you're going to create content with what you have. You don't have to have the best thing, but you just have to get started.
Right.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? You ain't gotta have the iPhone 12 Pro Max and all this other stuff. You ain't gotta go buy a Sony A7 III, you know, spending $4 or $5 grand. No, just get started with putting out your content. It's the Gary V effect, right?
Right.
You just have to start.
Yeah.
You just have to start and keep going. You know what I mean? Regardless of what you have, because eventually you're gonna keep building on that. When you get to that point, then you upgrade.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But we just have to start
Yeah, you gotta start somewhere.
somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, same thing is like with schools. You know, while you're there, you know, learn the business part of barbering. Because guess what? Haircuts are gonna get better with repetition.
Right.
But business is a whole nother thing. But learn everything. Even if you don't like doing blow dries, get really good at blow dry. If you're not that good at color, study more color. If you're not that good with your shears, put in more work with shears. You know,
Cause the game changing. The game might be like, it was like this freestyle designs in my era. Then now we're in the whole now colorful era.
right.
You know, and last year it was the crops, you know.
Right.
So like if you don't keep up with the times, and Mello, I see him putting out all this color. You know, he had to learn that. We had this discussion, and he was like, I had to teach myself. Nobody was teaching me, so I had to trial and error, and the colors bleeding. So he had to discover which colors was the right color.
You gotta take a lot of
And-
L's.
right, and now he's doing this like beautiful stuff that he's putting out there into the universe. But
Yes, sir.
it starts now while you're in school. Like, don't say I'm never gonna do this. I'm never gonna do that. I just want to strictly be fake. You just, you know, you're not expanding your mind, and you're subjecting yourself to this little square, and you're not gonna grow out of that. Do everything, because there's more money in what he's doing versus a simple haircut. You know, he could charge somebody $150, $200 for that color,
Service, yeah.
you know, for that service, versus, you know, doing somebody for $20, and then it took half the time when you're in school and you're fresh out, it's taking you 45 minutes to do a haircut anyway. So now you only made $20 an hour, minus taxes, minus 401k, Social Security.
Killing
You know what I mean? You down to $8 profit. You feel me? They don't think about that. So somebody like him comes in, he does that, you know, that same color, you know, that in that design, it took him an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours tops. He still made $100 an hour.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Versus your little 20 that you took trying to figure out that phase still.
And you
So-
can do your haircut.
Right,
You know what
and
I
you can do your haircut. So like, you know, you gotta learn everything with barber. You gotta say, I'm a well-rounded barber. You know, I take pride in saying that I'm a well-rounded barber. I can hit you
Absolutely.
with the shears, I can hit you with the color, I can hit you with the, you know, with the
Design.
clippers, designs. Be a well-rounded barber. Don't just say I'm just gonna be this type of barber.
Right.
I think that's important.
Absolutely. And that, now that you said being well-rounded, we were talking earlier. If you're in a shop, everybody is good at a certain thing, right? Pick all of your fellow barber brothers and sisters' brain and have them show you that.
But I
That
think that's
doesn't-
when that ego comes in,
Bro,
and people don't want to. Yo, ask Miguel, man. I'll be cutting. I'll finish the cut. I'll go stand next to him, just watching what he does.
Right.
So there's no reason why no one else could do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're supposed to grow in this industry.
Right.
Once you stop trying to learn, you're done. You're done.
Right.
Cause it's like there's no knowledge, there's no different
don't
styles.
evolve.
You don't evolve.
Right.
y'all saying that about Booms, right? Because or even Mellow, like I feel like certain times you work with somebody for so long that you just see him like, yo, this is, I see him every day, regular person. I can't learn nothing from this guy, right? Because you see him every day. It's like somebody that lifts weights, and you see them when they start, and out of nowhere, like they get, you know, huge or whatever. But if you're with them every day, you don't see that like transition, right? But to the new person coming in, they're like, wow, bro, you've been hitting them weights, right? And to me, it bothers me when people are in situations where they could better themselves off of the person next to them in a genuine way, and they take it as they view it like, damn, this dude's going too hard right now. You know what I'm saying? Instead of like, damn, I want to like get on the same level and grow with this.
But then they expect it though.
Right.
But then they expect it.
For
They expect to learn it. They expect you to give it to them,
Yeah,
but they
bro,
don't
just
take
throw
the
it on the
initiative.
table,
Right.
like,
They don't take the
not how it
initiative to do that. I had a kid that was working for me, and he's like, "Well, what's up with all this free education that you said you was gonna give us?" You know what I mean? And I'm like,
It's right there.
I'm like, I'm walking distance from one shop to the other. How many times have you sat your ass in here and watched? Like, I'm not gonna go over there and teach you. You got to come to me. You got to go seek knowledge. Knowledge don't seek you.
Bro.
Right. So it's like, don't ever think that somebody has to show you something, that they got to break bread with you. Closed mouths don't get fed. If you want to learn something, you better go do that. Stand next to that person and watch them or ask them something. I know now, like, through Melo's trial and error, I can hit him up and be like, "Yo, what color do you use?" And he's gonna give me the right
Shortcuts.
one. Right. You see? So there's
ego, bro.
Right, that ego, but ego causes us to say, "I'm not gonna teach nobody my secrets," and then ego also causes somebody to say, "I ain't gonna go ask him nothing." Like,
I
who
can't
does?
get. I can't get.
I can't
from
get
him.
nothing from that, right? But you don't know that you can get so much. Like, I've learned so much from the young cats that started in my shop.
Right.
12 years later. And I'm learning stuff still. Like, these young gunners come in there and they come with little tricks and stuff that they seen probably on Christian's page or something like that. And I was like, "Oh, I like that." And then I go back to the black sheep and then I go do it. But that's called continuous education. That's how we continue to educate ourselves, is by watching and reading and learning and absorbing all of that, taking it in, applying it to your craft, and then you grow. You grow from that. But just because you went to school for 1 year and you did that, you got your barber's license now, okay, congratulations.
Right.
But what now? You got to keep learning and keep teaching yourself, because nobody's going to do it for you, but you got to go seek it. You can't wait for it to seek you, because it won't.
Right. And we got to be forever students.
Always.
And when I say we have to be forever students, and I mean that across the board, just forever students in life. You know what I mean? Because every day is a new day. Every day is different. Every day is gonna present its different hurdles, and we have to adjust, right? And we have to continue to learn, just in life, period.
Correct.
Same thing in the barber game. We have to keep learning. Now, one thing that I always, when I was teaching, I always told the students is, while you're in school, go visit different shops. And the reason that I always say that is because not every shop is meant for everyone. You have to find the shop that suits you.
Correct.
Right. And when you go to these shops, always think to yourself, what do I have to offer this shop? Okay. Right. Because don't go into the shop just to make money. Go into the shop, look at that owner in the face, and tell them what you have to offer the shop. And why they should. Right.
I think that's a whole podcast on itself. Everybody always want to know, what can somebody do for me? But you're never offering, what can you do for that person?
Absolutely.
Offer your services, pay it forward. What can you bring to the table? Because the table's there, the table's been set, there's food on the table, and you're gonna come and sit your fat greedy butt behind that table, and you're gonna eat. But what are you contributing? Are you cooking up anything? Are you putting on the table and allowing others to eat off your plate? But you're coming in here into a barbershop that's established for 12 years that doesn't need you, but you feel like you guys gift. You feel like you're the best thing since sliced bread, and you coming in here with your chest popped out, and I dress better than everybody in here, and man, you see my fade game, I'm better than him, and you start doing that, and you don't offer nothing. You don't offer nothing but toxic energy. That's all you're offering. You have to say, hey, I got this to offer you, man.
Right.
I'll sweep it whenever I don't have a client. Shoot me a client, man, and I'll clean up for you. Pay it forward. And I think people don't have that mentality, especially the generation today. And I don't blame the generation today on saying you guys are at fault. I blame our generation for not teaching the next generation, not taking that time out to teach that generation the proper way. You see, and the new generation got it misconstrued, but not just because of us, but because of society. And they're caught up in this whole facade of IG and TikToks and stuff like that. So they're caught up in that whole lane, and they don't take a step back and say, this is real life, this is real world. You don't cross certain lines, you don't step on people's feet. create this, that, and the other. But I think it's because of what society has been pushing, the narrative. The narrative has been materialistic things, you know. You know, you have to be look a certain way, you have to wear a certain brand, you have to drive a certain car. Right. So when this generation gets caught up in that facade and that whole lifestyle thing, they have this sense of entitlement that everything is supposed to be given to me just because society put it out there that I can have it. So they say I need to have it, and you're gonna give it to me, and you don't give it to me without me working for it. There's something wrong with you, and that's something wrong with me.
Absolutely.
So you create this narrative,
image.
you create this image, you create this lifestyle, this facade, and it's fake. You see what I'm saying? It's fake, and then you create this little monster, and you know they're lazy. They don't come to work on time. They don't value the things they're supposed to value as traditional barbering is. You see, and that's that mentality that we don't want to encourage, and these are the type of people that we don't want to breed. You see?
It's funny you say that because on episode 2, my cousin was talking on there, and he said something that stuck to me. Right? He said every day is different, right, in the barbershop, but the one thing that doesn't change, the floor, the chairs, the station, that doesn't change. But every day is a different day, right? And you gotta take that day for what it is.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? And make the best of it. And if you're feeling down, you got brothers and sisters that's gonna bring you up, you know, and help you out with these things.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a beautiful thing, man, that we're having this conversation. Again, man, I appreciate you guys because it's crazy. But real quick, why do you guys create the content that you create? What is the why?
Different. Just being different. Separating yourself from average. I feel like that's key. Cause you ain't gonna do nothing, man, like coming to work from 10, leaving at 6, and you ain't producing no type of content. You're gonna just work all your life. You you're not making a name for yourself in a way, you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like with social media, it could be your best friend or it could be your worst enemy. Like Booms was saying, there's people that just go based off of social media. Like they create this fake image of themselves, but in reality, y'all not doing nothing positive, man. Y'all going based off negative energy, and I feel like that's.
Well, sometimes I think people do that because they don't have inner peace with themselves. You know what I mean? That's where I think negative energy comes from, is because they don't have that inner peace. It is, but
lack of confidence. They're not confident with themselves. They're not confident. They have low self-esteem, and that's a negative trait. Right. You see, it's not positive. So they, you know, that's why the women are half naked on Instagram and all that. It's not because, you know, it's like they admire themselves. It's because they have a low self-esteem, so they need someone's, you know, validation to say, you're beautiful, you're sexy, you approve. But if you ever look at them like without makeup on and stuff like that, you see them in their true organic form. You know, they have flaws just like everybody else, and they so caught up in those flaws and trying to look like the next Kim K that they don't even love themselves, and that's the kind of toxic energy that they putting out there. You know, they have to get butt naked almost. They're not even saving nothing for their future husbands. And you know, 10.4 million people that they see on Instagram saw their bodies naked. Then when they meet their husbands, like there's no surprise to that. He saw all the. We used to get excited when we used to get those type of pictures on our cell phones, like a girl and just like sending her face and like a little bit of this. You know what I mean? Just like the little line right there, and with the lips poked out, we would get excited at that. Now it's like you don't even gotta wait for that. You just go on Instagram.
That's why they got OnlyFans, man. Yeah, but because I'm always curious on, you know, the reason on why people create the content that they create. You know what I mean? And I always say, when we are creating something, you know, make sure it's authentic and that it represents the authentic you in that content, you know. Because I've seen a lot of people try to replicate what others are doing, you know, and we always got to remember that the original is worth way more than the carbon copy. You know what I mean? So that's why I asked you guys this question on why you guys create the content that you create.
Yeah, I feel like if you do copy it, the only way you could get away with it is if you do that better.
Oh, for sure.
If you're gonna go ahead and take someone's niche, you gotta use it, but do it better.
If you gonna rock some Gucci, man, you better make sure that Gucci almost there.
But the problem with that is, and I totally agree with Miguel. The problem with that is you can't move until that person moves again anyway. No, so even if you do it better, you don't got the mentality to keep it going because you still got to wait for his next move so you can copy that and try to make that even better. You see what I'm saying?
My thing is, if you're gonna copy it, at least give me credit, right? for being original. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of that goes on. Right. You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing wrong with that because that's also part of evolving.
Right. I was about to say that's evolution.
You know,
right?
That's part of evolving.
Gonna happen.
You know,
it's gonna happen.
You know, take a little bit of this guy. Let me make it a little better. You know what I'm saying?
Yo,
but
real quick,
give him credit.
You showed me that bench earlier. Remember? I was like,
yeah.
Damn, that bench was fire, bro.
It was the most simplest. I
saw this bench. I was like, I'm putting that bench in my shop. It was like 2 cement bricks and like a piece of wood in it, but it looked so minimalistic and just nice. But I'm not gonna be like, hey, bro, thanks for the bench. You know what I'm saying?
What I'm saying, like, but see, you saw that, and that was just inspiration for your thing, right? I'm sure you're probably gonna use that idea and make it your own. You see what I'm saying? It's like you're not gonna do like the same exact thing,
right?
You know what I'm saying? You're gonna try to put a little bit of Miguel sauce on that,
right?
You know what I mean?
Right.
But you're right. It was minimalistic, and when I saw that shop, I was like, "Yo, that shop is fire!" Because
beautiful,
it's just plain.
Hey, give that shop a shout out.
You know, on Dama, you know, we definitely. I mean, I love the way they do hair. It's a husband and wife team, but just their shop is just plain, all white. I mean, it's just very minimalistic, but the content that they create is crazy. And he saw the video and it showed the bench that it's just the waiting area, and it's literally 4 cinder block bricks with some PVC pipes through it.
Sounds crazy, but it's dope.
You know, but for Miguel, it was dope. Miguel was like, "Yo, I'm stealing that."
Screenshot.
You know,
gonna be sitting on bricks now, man.
For insurance purposes, I'm gonna let y'all keep that.
Bro, you gotta see it, understand.
But the cool part is that, you know, things like that, very minimal things could inspire us to create our own content.
Right.
You know,
I think you need a space like that to create something that's not cluttered, something that's open, a shell sort of setting like a studio.
Right.
It allows you to be more creative because you envision how you're gonna dress those walls up, or what's gonna be the backdrop, or what's gonna be the scenery, and it allows you to be more creative in that barber and beauty world.
Oh, absolutely,
bro,
man.
You want to know my thing is though too, like I feel like anybody, like if you're a barber, right, especially if you're a barber in this area, right, I feel like if it was me, vice versa, I would be here right now. You know what I'm saying? Just to honestly, like, you could definitely get something out of me, Christian, Junior, especially Booms. It's like, why is it that a lot of times those people don't show up and just take in that knowledge? You know what I mean? They probably won't even watch us. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But they, at the end of the day, though, they could be the same person asking somebody else for advice on the same thing that you could help them with.
That's that.
You know what I'm saying? But they're not gonna ask Booms for it.
Right.
They're gonna ask
the person
so and so and be like, "Yo, how do you blah blah blah?" But like Booms is showing you, bro, giving you opportunities. Like right now, this is an open like podcast.
Right.
You could just come in and just take knowledge.
For sure.
Why aren't you here?
Football Sunday. they
ain't no football today.
Well, you know what I mean. Though
next week
they always have something better to do, and then that something better is not benefiting them at all.
Right.
Because if it's not increasing my income or bettering my family, I don't entertain it. B knows. Me and B worked together for a while. He knows I don't even watch TV. Like I don't watch TV. It's a distraction. I go home, I'm reading a book or something like that. Like I'm working. I'm on my laptop.
Right.
People
Roaming
always
every day,
right. People have something better to do. It's an excuse that they make. Oh, I gotta do this. I gotta do that. I'm gonna have fun. I want to have fun. I want to have fun. And they want to have all this fun.
And it's funny you say that because me and Miguel last night we was on the phone, and it was like 10:30 at night. I'm working, making sure that all the podcast equipment is, you know, working properly and all this, that, and the third. He's doing his thing. You know, these guys, they're not shooting these videos while they're working. and making income, right? They're doing it afterwards, and then they're going home and spending a couple more hours, sometimes 12, 1 o'clock in the morning,
Right.
you know, putting in work, not going home and just sitting on the couch and watching TV all night.
Correct.
You know, they're, you know, with the 24 hours that we're all given, they're making sure that they're putting in some sort of work, you know, and I respect that because it's, you know, work doesn't finish when we leave. You know, we're all family, man, here. I know I got all kinds of work. I got kids and dogs. I got a whole zoo in my house. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I still go home and do some other work. You know what I'm saying? Now with the podcast, it's even more work, and I still figure out time to spend with family and do the things that we want to do.
Bro, you know, with saying that, it really is like that. Like, you have to do your work, and then you have to build your content after work. Either way, you have to build your content.
That's overtime, baby.
To build your brand. But you know what? After a while, I realized, like, someone's doing that too. Yeah. So what, like, for example, even me and Christian, we do that. They'll be at work and we're shooting videos at work, during work, in the middle of a haircut. And it's not like, yo, Miguel, come help me. No, bro, because he knows I'm busy. And he knows I won't help him. He gets mad.
But the thing is,
he doesn't get mad. It's just
you guys are maximizing your time.
Bro, when you have to always get that one step above.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I feel like surrounding is
even
key
after
too,
work
man.
is not enough sometimes, bro. You have to, even during work, this haircut, I could have done this a little bit better because I didn't have the time, but I'm gonna put it out there, and you'd be surprised. It's those haircuts or that content that you're like, you don't even try on, bro. You don't try on that content, and you put it out, and it goes viral. And the video that you stayed up till 3 a.m. shooting, it just dies in a day. You know what I'm saying? You gotta hit somebody up. Hey, have you seen this cut? Bro, I hit up my cousin like, yo, drop a fire emoji on that.
It's tough, man.
Please.
Now, real quick, you know, because I know we all got things to do before we end this. What is one piece of advice or inspiration that you guys could give the audience that's listening or here live today? What is one piece of advice or inspiration that you guys from yourself could give people that are tuning in?
I'll let y'all go first.
Oh, damn, I want to go.
Nah, go ahead.
Hey,
But we're sitting here, but bro, me and Christian look at Booms like this is a straight up like father at church,
man.
bro. Like preaches.
Listen,
Huge inspiration.
every time I talk to Miguel, since we've been talking about doing this podcast, all he kept saying is, bro, boom, bro, boom, boom. I was like, I know. I said, Miguel, you also have something to say and something to, you know,
He got a lot of good. He got a lot of good stuff to say. All
Right.
our conversations have been productive and good, man. Proud of it.
Absolutely, and that's what I tell them. You know, that's what this podcast is about, because we all have something to offer, you know, other people, and I'm sure other people have things to offer us as inspiration too. But you know, right now I have you guys on this podcast, and I want to know, you know, what's one piece of advice that you could give anybody that's in the industry, whether they're young or older like me, man. I'm 43. You know what I'm saying? I came in the game mad late, but I get inspired by a lot of stuff because everything to me is art. You know, I walk out around every day and it's just beautiful. It's art, you know what I'm saying? Haircuts that we create is art. Video content that you guys create, that's art. The colors that Mello be doing on here is art. Everything that we do is art, you know. You go outside, look at the landscape. It's art.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So what is one thing that you guys, you know, inspiration or some sort of motivational thing that you guys could say to our listeners?
Okay, for example, I feel like with this career, right? With this career path, it's a roller coaster. So there's a lot of ups and downs. If you're starting off, you might think you're gonna come into this and you're gonna just be making money off the shop, just like, damn, like every client back to back. It's not gonna be like that. You have to grow it, and it's not something that I remember when I was doing one haircut a day. I used to be googling, how do I get more clients by tomorrow? Like, I need this quick, I need this money. And I realized that, look, it's not
process,
gonna be here tomorrow,
Right, it's a
and
process.
it's not gonna be here the next day or the next week or the next month. You have to build these good habits and consistently keep up with them, and it's still gonna be a roller coaster. You're gonna do everything right, and everything is gonna go wrong.
Right.
You have to show up every day, whether it's an L or a W, and take that and keep showing up the next day, and understand that things are gonna get better as long as you keep this foundation that you're building, in place. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Why y'all looking at me, man?
I thought you were gonna say something.
I thought you was gonna say something, my brother.
Yeah, I was. No, I forgot. But I feel like I always say this, man. Surrounding is important in this barbering industry and in general in life. I was in Lehigh cutting, and I felt like I just wasn't growing. I was young, and I had a lot of visions, but I wasn't able to touch those visions because of my surroundings. Like, I wasn't around individuals that had that same type of mindset.
Right.
So when I came to Ace, that's why I'm very grateful for Miguel, Booms, JR, Mello. You've always been I feel like that's very important, man, because you surround yourself with negativity or people that don't want that same hustle or ambition as you, you're not finna get nowhere, really. Like, right. you finna just stay the same. Yeah. So when I came to Ace, man, I learned a lot. Like, I didn't know how to use scissors right. I didn't know how to color hair. I didn't know how to do a lot of stuff, man. And that's where you evolve as a person and as a barber, because you seeking knowledge from every other barber in here. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So I really feel like, I always say this a lot, man. Surrounding, I think, is everything, man. You surround yourself with dope boys, you gonna somehow end up
being a dope boy.
Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? You surround yourself with individuals that aren't good for you, you ain't finna be nothing good. So right. I truly feel like surrounding yourself, man, is key. Like, it's very, very important who you surround yourself with.
Piggyback off of what you said, with surrounding yourself, there's a saying out there, right? If you surround yourself around 4 millionaires, you're gonna be the fifth. Get rich, yeah. Right? If you surround yourself with 4 poor cats, guess what? You're gonna be the 5th broke cat out there. Bro, you know what I mean? So that is dope. Our surroundings do make us better. You know what I mean?
Hey, and Christian makes me not give up on the younger generation. He just turned 23 yesterday.
Straight up.
That's
crazy.
Yes, sir. Man. Happy birthday, by the way.
Yesterday?
Yesterday.
Oh, happy birthday, man. You didn't tell me, man. We would have celebrated, man. We would have celebrated.
He would have gave you the boom experience. Because he's no longer just a doctor.
Hey,
that dude became a pilot. An author.
Every time I talk to Booms, I'll be laying in my bed. I'll get the call. Bro, this dude somehow, man, always makes me just walk around my house just talking to this dude, bro. It's crazy, bro. I'm like, yo, what the fuck is this dude doing, bro? It's crazy. I think that's powerful, man, because
that's that boom effect.
Yeah, you could really impact a lot of people, man.
And that's the beautiful thing about him is, like, just a regular conversation get you so inspired and motivated. You start pacing around your house talking to this joker, like, yo, let me go get a cigar while I'm having a conversation with this cat. You know what I mean?
We got to get it done.
If you appreciate it, you know what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So time, based on everything y'all said, and I appreciate every one of y'all for real and the beautiful things you said.
Appreciate you, my brother.
Time is the advice that I give everybody. Listening. We don't have much of it. It will creep up on you, and it'll be gone right in front of your eyes. We appreciate the time that you have with your children. I see this gentleman here brought his daughter into the audience.
Yes, sir.
I think that's a beautiful thing. I salute that.
Salute.
Because he said, hey, I want to get more good game. I want to hear what these gentlemen have to say, but I have my daughter today. I can't drop off. I'm gonna bring her with me. I salute that right there. That's real big as a father. As a father and as a man, I respect that, and that shows his ambition in this game, stepping in, and he's saying, hey, I'm gonna do everything, and I'm gonna figure out that balance. Time is very crucial. It's against us. It's never for us. You see, and don't ever think for 1 second. Don't sell out for money for your time. You can't buy more time with money, but you can make more money with time. Ooh. So I really want that to marinate with people. You see?
Amen.
You see, a lot of people get caught up on that. I got to get this money. But the time that you are going to give up for that money is going to be so important and so valuable. It's going to be so precious, and that time is going to go right by you. I have older children and I have a younger children, and I missed out so much on my older children trying to establish myself and trying to get out there. And I look back at it now and I say, damn, man, my kids are big and they're teenagers, but they don't hold nothing against me. I got great kids. They love me. I love them. I'm very active in their life. But I look back at it and it saddens me sometimes, the stuff that I had to miss out on, because I was out of the country. I was flying around the United States or wherever I was at, trying to provide for them. But could I have did what this gentleman is doing and brought them in and made them more, around? But I've always protected my children so much from the public, and I never really wanted them out there. I really don't post my kids because of the outside world and how society is. Right. But I look at it now and I'm like, damn, could I have done more time-wise? Time is you think when you're in your 20s that, I got time for this and I got time for that. You don't have time. Because if you do what these young gentlemen are doing now in their 20s and early 30s, you're going to get so much more done than myself at 39. I'm 39 and I'm looking at it like, damn, I got 10 more years to really produce. These are going to be my glory days right here. These next 10 years, I'm going to go harder than I've ever gone before, because in my 20s, I had went to prison and all that, and I still had to get out, figure it out. Then my 30s, once you get it, you want to wild out a little bit, have fun with it, So then it comes to the point where you be like, I got to stop playing around. The clock is ticking. So you guys in your early 20s, start doing it now. Start being more disciplined and apply more structure onto your time, so that way you're not wasting time. Don't waste it. Invest it. Don't let nobody play with your time. Don't you dare play with anybody else's time. Take it as something personal, as something serious. When you told me we're going to start here at 1 o'clock, at 12:50 I was already outside. Yes, I left my house early, and I'm driving slow to get here, making sure I don't get no traffic, avoiding any type of roadblocks. You see, that's the type of person I am. I take that time very serious.
You asked Miguel.
You see?
With time?
Right.
I was supposed to get here at 10. I was here at 8:30.
See what I'm saying? So but a lot of people
I showed up at like 10:30.
A lot of people take that for granted, and they feel like they got a lot of it. And you don't know if today's going to be the day that you walk out that door and bam, you're gone. God took you. My aunt in Puerto Rico just died about 2 months ago. She just died in her sleep. Nothing wrong with her. She just didn't wake up. Right. 60 years old, just didn't wake up. It was her time. God took her. You don't know when your time is. You're not invincible. Don't take it for granted. You only live one time. Make it count. Make it count. Invest your time wisely. Your surroundings, the type of people that you keep around you. Invest in good people that are going to invest in you, people that are going to allow you to grow, people that are going to allow you to progress. Don't waste your time with foolish people, with foolishness, and always be aware of your time.
Man. Yeah. That was a whole sermon right there. This is shit I be talking about, man.
This is shit I be talking about, man.
Amen. I appreciate those words, man. Hats off to you, bro. Everybody, man, thank you for being here on the Barbers Podcast, man. Episode 3.
Hey, but hold on, I want to shout out. I want to shout out some people though, real quick. Shout out,
man. Go ahead, man. Shout out,
shout out to JRL, #1 clipper company out right now. They the Tesla of hair clippers. So if you haven't tried a pair, go try a pair. Shout out to Squad, the #1 booking app out right now. Apply structure onto your career and onto your business. Shout out to Roller Products International. We're doing some big things this year. Who am I missing out? I'm missing out a couple. I can't remember, but I want to shout out Christian, because we bringing him on board at JRL as one of our social media influencers, creating dope content.
Like that.
Congratulations on that, my brother.
I want to salute Miguel for being such a great leader and molding this young man. And this is the thing right here. I want y'all to understand. Not one time, and you can ask him, have I ever said, "Come work for me at my shop"? I don't step on that man's toes. Right. It's a respect thing. I never do that. Don't ever jump in as a business owner into somebody else's DM, especially
that
when
shady shit, man.
When you have a relationship with this man. Because my relationship first was with Miguel, but shout out to you for being the leader that you are and helping create this monster that you've helped, because you've created a monster at 23 years old. This man is something to reckon with, something to recognize, and we're gonna do some great things with him. and we're gonna try to mold him in becoming a future educator, and so he can travel the world, so he can motivate, so he can inspire, so he can create, so he can help elevate other people after him. You know, so at my age, when he's there, he gonna be on a whole nother level, man.
Different
for
level.
real,
Sir.
for real, because he's different, and
That's
I like
beautiful.
the kid, and he's humble, and he got a good heart. Shout
what's up, man.
shout out to B, shout out to Detail Face, shout out to Mello, veterans, all
sir.
veterans in the game, and we've been doing this a long time, and you know I love all y'all, man, for real.
Absolutely,
Likewise.
man. We love you back, bro. And
Sure, bro.
again, I appreciate all you guys being on here on the podcast, man, in episode 3. Truly, man, I enjoyed this conversation.
Appreciate you.
You know what I mean?
Thank you, man.
And again, with that being said, man, I appreciate everybody being here. I appreciate all of you guys, man. Thank you. Make sure y'all tune in to the Barbers Roundtable podcast, man. And until the next one, peace out.